Be me. Didn't plan to end my evening in a police station. Didn't plan to do anything illegal either. Starts with something stupid, as these things always do. At a friend's place. Not wild, not loud. Just people talking, laughing. Maybe arguing a little too passionately about whose turn it is to take out the trash. Classic domestic battlefield. Apparently someone in the building disagrees with our definition of not loud. Here knocking, not polite knocking. Open the door. 2 officers in the hallway. One is clearly bored. The other one is not. She's calm, focused, professional, uniform fits perfectly. Hair pulled back, expression neutral. She scans the room once, then looks straight at me. Evening, she says. We received a noise complaint. Me, brilliant conversationalist. Nod. Okay. That's it. That's my whole response. No explanation, no apology. She raises an eyebrow. Just okay? My brain chooses the worst possible path. What would you prefer? A dramatic confession? Board officer snorts. She doesn't. But the corner of her mouth twitches. Think we're done. Think this ends with, keep it down. Think wrong. 10 minutes later, the situation somehow escalates. Not because I resist. Not because I argue. It escalates because I say the wrong thing at the wrong time. My special. She's giving the standard talk. Tone, controlled, eyes, level. I decide to contribute. I don't think this requires handcuffs, I say calmly. She looks at me. Oh, she replies. And why is that? Me, completely serious. Because I'm not a flight risk. Silence, then. Sir, she says, please turn around. I blink. Realize I may have miscalculated the comedic timing. Wait, what? Hands behind your back. Board officer mutters. Oh, this is going to be good. Thanks, man. Appreciate the support. 5 minutes later, I'm sitting in the back of a patrol car, not arrested, temporarily detained. Apparently there's a difference. Doesn't feel different when you're in the back seat contemplating every decision you've made since birth. Get to the station. Guess who processes me? Of course she does. She sits across from me at a small table, typing. Name? She asks. I tell her. She pauses, looks up. Occupation? I answer. She hums thoughtfully. You don't look like trouble. I do the small smile thing. People say that a lot. She finally looks directly at me. Do you understand why you're here? I consider it. Choose honesty. Because I open my mouth. This time she actually smiles. Like she hates that it happened, but it happened anyway. And that's when I realize something important. This night is already way more interesting than I expected. That feeling when your bad decisions come with plot development. If this were a real interrogation, I'd already be dead. She's still typing. Like she's thinking more than necessary. Like she's not just filling blanks. Like she's measuring me against some internal scale labeled annoying but tolerable. She says, eyes still on the screen. So, you live in the building where the complaint came from? Yes. You were present during the noise disturbance? Yes. You admit you made a joke while being questioned? I nod. Guilty. She finally looks up. I didn't say joke. Trust me, I reply. It was definitely a joke. Her lips press together. She's trying not to smile. I can tell. She leans back in her chair. Do you often joke with police officers? Only the ones who look like they can handle it. That earns me a look, not angry, assessing. You're very calm, she says. I don't panic easily. Why not? I shrug. Panic doesn't help. She nods slowly, like she approves, from somewhere behind us. Muffled laughter, a colleague, definitely listening. She clears her throat. Focus. I raise my hands a little. Focused. She asks more routine questions, nothing serious. Basic information, basic procedure, she says. You don't seem like someone who causes trouble, I answer. I don't. I just stumble into it. She considers that, like she's seen that exact type before, then sighs. All right. She stands, and for a second, I think I'm about to be sent to some holding cell for the crime of being myself. She adds, for the record, I'm releasing you with a warning. I smile, relief plus amusement mixing into one expression. Does that mean I'm free to go? Yes. But, she says, pointing at me, next time, keep the noise down. I stand up. Brain immediately reaches for the dumbest line available. Next time, I'll whisper. She shakes her head, amused despite herself, like she's disappointed in me, but also entertained. I start walking toward the exit. She calls after me. Hey! I turn. She hesitates for half a second. Tiny pause, then asks, "Do you always end up in strange situations?" I grin. Only on nights that start out normal. She watches me leave, and I know, without knowing why, this isn't the last time I'll see her. My face when the warning feels like an invitation. That feeling when you can't prove it, but you can feel it. 3 days later, coffee shop, I'm in line, half awake, debating whether caffeine is enough. Answer, probably not, but we try anyway. Hear a familiar voice behind me. Please tell me you're not being loud again. I turn. Of course, it's her. She's in civilian clothes this time. Jeans, hoodie, hair loose, still unmistakably her. I raise my hands. I swear I'm behaving. She smirks. Good, I'm off duty. I glance around like there's a hidden camera. Does that mean I can relax? That depends, she replies. Do you plan to cause trouble? Me choosing violence. Only emotionally. She laughs. Place is full. 1 chair left. We end up sitting at the same table. Not planned. She sips her coffee. So, she says, you're not usually in police stations? Not unless the universe is bored. She tilts her head. Interesting theory. We talk about nothing important. And somehow, everything. She tells me about her job. I tell her about mine. She listens. Time passes weirdly fast, like someone hit skip on the awkward parts. We stand to leave, and she hesitates. Hey, she says. About the other night. I smile. No hard feelings. It was memorable. She chuckles. Good. Then quieter. Maybe we'll run into each other again? I grin. Seems likely. 2 days later, grocery store, see her. A week later, near the gym, see her. Once, walking past my building, see her. By the 4th coincidence. I stop pretending. So, I say, should I start carrying my ID everywhere? She smiles. Wouldn't hurt. And somewhere between the jokes and the repeated run-ins, it stops feeling like chance and starts feeling like interest. That feeling when you can't label it yet, but you can feel the trajectory. Our first real date doesn't start with the word date, because neither of us says it out loud. It starts with her saying, so, coffee doesn't count anymore, right? I pretend to think. Depends, I reply. Are you arresting me if I say yes? She rolls her eyes. Off duty, she reminds me. No authority, sadly. We meet at a small diner, nothing fancy. The kind of place where the menus are sticky, and the coffee is aggressively average. Perfect. She shows up a little late, apologetic, flustered, which is weird because in uniform, she looks like nothing ever rattles her. Long shift, I ask. She nods. Let's just say paperwork should be illegal. I smile. Careful, that sounds like something a criminal would say. She laughs. I'd arrest myself if I could. We sit, talk, relax. She's different like this, still confident, but softer, more human in the little ways. She fidgets with her spoon, makes sarcastic comments under her breath, smiles more easily. I test the vibe. So, I say, do you always interrogate people this gently? She arches an eyebrow. This isn't an interrogation. Could have fooled me. She shakes her head. You're impossible. At one point, she tells a story about tripping over a curb while running late for work. I blink. You? Yes, me, she replies defensively. The uniform doesn't come with balance. I laugh. She laughs too. And suddenly, this doesn't feel like cop and the guy she detained once. It feels like 2 people. Just 2 people in a sticky menu diner making each other laugh. When we leave, it's dark out. Parking lot lights buzzing. Cold air. She hesitates by her car. This was nice, she says. Yeah, I agree. It was. She looks at me like she's considering something. Like there's a sentence in her head she's deciding whether to say. Then she shakes her head. Drive safe, she says. Always do. She gets in, pulls away. And I realize something important. I didn't think about police rules, or stations, or warnings. I just thought about how much I want to see her again. Thought dating would be fun. Turns out it's educational. Rule number 1, Suddenly become the most law-abiding person I know. Stop jaywalking like I'm running for office. Double-check parking signs. Actually read fine print. Why? Not because she tells me to. Because every time I don't, she just looks at me. Is that seatbelt clicked? She asks, casual. Yes, I respond at the speed of guilt. She smiles. Good. Feel my soul straighten its posture. Rule number 2. Everything can and will become a joke about arresting me. I'm late. Careful, she says. Obstruction of justice. I steal a fry. That's theft. I kiss her in public. She squints like I'm a suspect. Suspicious behavior. Tell her she's enjoying this too much. She doesn't deny it. Terrifying. Friends find out quick. Max nearly chokes on his drink. You're dating a cop? Police officer, I correct. Chris nods like he's solving a case. That explains why you're suddenly boring. Thanks, bro. She meets them a week later, in uniform, by accident. Max freezes. Is this a sting operation? She smiles politely. No. Then looks at me. Unless you're hiding something. I shrug. Only bad habits. Max looks at me like I'm already dead, despite the jokes. It gets real. She checks in after my long days. I listen when she's quiet after tough shifts. We don't talk much about her work, but I can tell when it sits heavy on her. One night she falls asleep on my couch mid-movie. Don't move. Just sit there listening to her breathe, thinking. This feels easy. Walk her to her car later. She pauses like she's choosing words carefully. You know, she says, I don't usually mix work and personal life. Raise an eyebrow. Am I a bad influence? She smiles soft. No, you're a good one. And it hits. This isn't a joke anymore. Not a funny story for later. This is someone I'm starting to care about. A lot. Start noticing the quiet moments. The ones she doesn't cover in sarcasm. Sometimes she comes over after a late shift and barely speaks. Kicks off her boots. Sinks into my couch. Just exhales. Just tired. Tell her once. You don't have to entertain me. She looks surprised. I know, she says. That's why I'm here. That sentence lodges in my chest. Permanent resident. She starts leaving things at my place. A hoodie, a toothbrush, a mug she insists is hers now. I claimed it, she says. Cop rules. Apparently eminent domain is romantic now. One night we cook together. By together, I mean I cook, and she supervises. That's too much salt, she says. It's not. She tilts her head. Do you want me to cite you? Laugh. Abuse of power. She smiles like that's her love language. Later, we're sitting on the floor eating, because we forgot the table exists. She goes quiet. I look over. You okay? She nods, then shakes her head. Some days are harder than others. Don't push, just move closer. Be present. Like that's the whole job. After a while, she says, people think I'm tough, quiet. They don't see this. Meet her eyes. I do. She watches me carefully. That night, she falls asleep with her head on my shoulder. Realize something. She doesn't need me to fix anything. She needs me to stay. And for the first time. The idea of staying long-term doesn't scare me. It feels right. Notice it before she says it. She's quieter, not tired, different, pushes food around, doesn't eat, says I'm fine, says it twice. That's how I know she's not. Tell her. You're thinking too hard. She looks at me, then away. Maybe. A few days later, she calls. Middle of the afternoon. That never happens. Hey, she says, voice steady. Can you come over after work? Of course, I say. What's wrong? I don't know yet, she says. But I think something's up. That evening I show up. She's on her couch. No uniform, no jokes, just her hugging a pillow. I've been feeling off, she says. Tired, nauseous, weird. Sit next to her. Okay, I say. We'll figure it out. She hesitates, then looks at me. There's a chance, she says quietly, that I might be pregnant. Words land hard, but not like I expected. First thought isn't panic, it's clarity. Take a breath. All right, I say. She blinks. That's it? Nod. That's it. You're not scared? I am, I admit, but not of that. She waits. I'm scared of you thinking you're alone in this, I say. Because you're not. Her eyes soften. I didn't want to assume anything, she says. I needed to know where you stand. Reach for her hand. I'm right here. She squeezes my fingers, doesn't say anything else, doesn't need to. Later that night, lying next to her, stare at the ceiling, thinking responsibility, timing, how weird life is. Didn't plan this, but for the first time in a long while, I don't feel like running. Test confirms it. 2 lines, clear. She stares at it, then looks at me. Well, she says quietly, guess you're officially in trouble now. Smile. If that's the charge, I say, I plead guilty. After that, things move forward. She tells a few people at work, carefully, reactions. Shock, jokes. One colleague looks at me and goes, So, you're the guy from the noise complaint. I nod like I'm in court. Yes, sir. He laughs. I survive another day. I go to appointments with her. Learn more medical words than any man should. Also learn. I'm terrible at hiding nerves. She squeezes my hand once. You're doing fine, she says. You don't need to be calm all the time. I know, I say. I just want to be reliable. She smiles. You already are. Feel my chest do something stupid. Some nights we laugh. Some nights we're quiet. Sometimes she falls asleep mid-sentence. Sometimes I just watch her breathe and think. How is this real? One evening she catches me zoning out. What? Shrug. Still weird to think this started because I talked back to a cop. She smirks. You talked back to me. Worst decision of my life, I say. She raises an eyebrow. Liar. Later, we're sitting together, her head on my shoulder. She says softly, You know, I'm glad it was you. Don't joke this time. Me too. Didn't plan this future, didn't expect it, didn't see it coming. But sometimes the dumbest mistakes, the smallest misunderstandings, lead you exactly where you're supposed to be. And if getting temporarily detained was the price, I'd do it again, no hesitation. That feeling when you become law-abiding because you fell in love with the person who can legally ruin your day. Nobody tells you the truth about babies. They hit you with, it's beautiful, and you'll figure it out. And sleep when the baby sleeps. Last one is a scam, because when baby sleeps, you're either cleaning, eating, or staring at the baby to confirm it still has a soul in there. Speedrun adulthood. Our son arrives like a tiny dictator. Small, loud, determined. He doesn't cry. He issues demands, like he's billing us by the minute. Girlfriend handles it with terrifying calm. Cop brain, but set to mom mode. Somehow worse. Me, improv actor with no script. But the audience is a baby, and it's furious. First night home, 2:17 a.m. Baby starts screaming like we owe him money. Bolt upright like I got tased. Heart and throat, brain empty. Whisper shout to girlfriend. What do we do? She doesn't even open her eyes. Feed him. Me, panicking. How do you know? Her, half asleep prophet. Because it's 2 a.m. That's what babies do. Look at baby. Baby looks back. Tiny face full of judgment. We develop shifts. She calls it a schedule. I call it survival. I become the night run guy. Diapers, formula, the one specific pacifier he likes. The other pacifier he hates. The third pacifier he hates slightly less. Why are there so many pacifiers? 3 a.m. in a store wearing sweatpants. Face of a man who has seen war. Cashier looks at me. Looks at the baby carrier. Looks back at me. Cashier, first kid, nod like a defeated soldier. She gives me the pity smile. I can tell. My face when roasted by minimum wage at 3 a.m., except my fate back home. Girlfriend is in full mom mode, different from cop mode, but somehow equally terrifying. Watch her calm the baby. Gentle voice, steady hands. Like she was born with a built-in, de-escalate tiny tyrant feature. Then she turns to me immediately. Sanitize that bottle properly. Instant posture correction. Yes, ma'am. She pauses. You just called me ma'am. Freeze. Brain buffering. It slipped. She narrows her eyes. Cop stare activated. Are you scared of me? No. Pause. A little. She smirks. Good. That feeling when dating law enforcement? That feeling when you are the suspect. One afternoon, miracle happens. Baby falls asleep on my chest. Everything goes quiet. World slows down. I don't move a muscle. Girlfriend sits beside me, watching us like we're the entire universe. She looks soft in a way that makes my chest ache. She says quietly, "You're good at this." I look down at tiny sleeping face. I am holding a human being like a warm loaf of bread. I whisper truth. I have no idea what I'm doing. She smiles like she's letting me into a secret society. That's the secret. Neither do I. And something clicks. I don't just love her. I love this. The chaos, the teamwork, the way she still jokes even when her eyes are tired, the way she stays, the way we keep showing up, even when the baby is conducting psychological warfare. That night, she's rocking the baby. I say it without thinking. We should get married. She stops, looks at me, eyes sharp like she's assessing a witness statement. You mean like, officially? Nod. Yeah. She blinks, then smirks. Careful. That sounds like a confession. I smile. Arrest me then. We try not to plan a huge wedding. We really do. Simple venue, small guest list, quick ceremony, no drama, no chaos. How naive can two people be? Then her coworkers find out. And apparently police officers treat weddings like tactical operations. They hear ceremony and think mission briefing. It starts with one text. Hey, what time is the wedding? Asking for planning purposes. Planning purposes. What does that mean? Why does that sound like a threat? 2 days later, woman from her precinct calls her. Cheery voice. Hi, just confirming, indoor or outdoor. Girlfriend blinks. Why? So we can coordinate. Girlfriend, coordinate what? Pause. Outfits, seating, moral support. My face when moral support is a tactical term. That feeling when you're about to be surrounded by uniforms. Turns out moral support means the whole precinct. Not a few, not a handful, the whole. Entire department materializes like a summoned army. Wedding day, show up. See a line of uniforms outside the venue. Looks like I'm about to be interrogated again. Stomach drops. Flashbacks to noise complaint arc. Turn to Max, somehow also dragged into this universe. Is this a sting? Max claps my shoulder. Congratulations, man. You're being arrested into marriage. Walk inside. Her colleagues have taken over like they own the building. One has a clipboard and the authority of a commander. One is checking the seating chart like it's evidence. One is adjusting flowers with the seriousness of a bomb tech. This is not a wedding. This is a controlled operation with catering. Find her near the back. She's in her dress. Simple, beautiful, completely her. For once she looks nervous. Lean in, whisper, "Your entire precinct is here." She sighs. I tried to stop them. Me. Did you? Her. I threatened paperwork. Me. And? Her. They said they'd do it. I stare. Realize what I'm up against. Those people are unstoppable. She nods grimly. I know. Ceremony starts. She walks toward me, and I forget everything else. The uniforms, the noise, the absurdity. Just her. Like the whole room disappears. Vows time. Keep mine simple. I choose you, I say. Every day. Even on the hard ones. Her eyes soften. Then she delivers hers with perfect timing. I choose you too. And I promise not to arrest you again. Room laughs. I grin. Not even if I jaywalk? She leans in, whispers like a threat wrapped in a kiss. Don't test me. We kiss. Applause erupts. Not polite wedding applause. Police applause. Sounds like a stadium. Someone whistles so loud the baby startles. Nina is holding the baby. Immediately shushes him like a professional. Baby complies. Reception. Her captain raises a glass. Toasts like he's about to announce a verdict. To the groom, he says. I brace myself. He continues. Thank you for keeping her happy. Then he looks at me with the seriousness of a man issuing a sentence. And if you ever hurt her? The entire precinct turns to look at me at once. I raise my hands. I won't. Max leans in. Blink twice if you need help. My face when my best man is also my hostage negotiator. Later, chaos dies down. We sit together in the corner, baby asleep nearby, her head on my shoulder, my hand on her ring. She sighs contentedly. "This is ridiculous," she murmurs. "It is," I agree, and then the truth. "And perfect." She smiles. "Good." She tilts her head up, kisses me once. Then she whispers, "You're still in trouble." I grin. "With you? Always." And honestly, that's the best kind of trouble I've ever been in.
Didn't plan to end my night in a station chair. Started with a noise complaint and stupid air. Opened up the door, there you were, calm as a blade, all pulled together. Said, "Evening, we got a call." I said, "Okay," like that, explain it all. Then I joked when I should've shut my mouth. And 5 minutes later I was headed downtown. You asked my name, my job, my side. Looked at me like I was trouble in a suit and tie. Said, "You don't look like trouble." I said, "Yeah, that's the thing." And somewhere in that fluorescent light, you almost smiled at me.
You said, "Next time, keep the noise down." I said, "Next time, I'll whisper." You shook your head like I was hopeless, but your eyes said, "See you later."
I'm still in trouble, still falling for your eyes. Started as a warning, now you're the rest of my life. You caught me talking reckless, now I'm yours for good. Funny how getting in trouble
Never felt this good.
Coffee shop 3 days later, you in a hoodie. Still look like authority, just off duty. You said, "Please tell me you're behaving now." I said, "Only emotionally." You laughed out loud. Then came the diner, sticky menus, late shift eyes. You told me stories, let me see the softer side. You made arrest jokes every time I stole your fries. And somehow getting teased by you felt like a prize. Friends said, "Bro, you're dating a cop," like I joined a cult. Forgot how to talk, but it got real in the quiet ways. Your boots by my couch, your mug in my place. You said, "I don't usually mix this life." Then looked at me like maybe this time.
Some nights you came over tired, didn't need to smile or perform. You said, "I know I can be here quiet." And God, I wanted to be home.
I'm still in trouble, still falling for your eyes. Started as a warning, now you're the rest of my life. You caught me talking reckless, now I'm yours for good. Funny how getting in trouble
Never felt this good.
Then one day you called me, voice steady but I knew. Said, "I think something's different," and the whole world shifted too. 2 lines clear as daylight. You looked at me like, "Now what do we do?" I took your hand and told you I'm right here with you. Then our son arrived screaming like a tiny king with demands. And you went from cop to mother like both were always in your hands. At 2 a.m. I panicked, you said, "Feed him, that's what babies do." And somewhere in the chaos I fell even harder for you. Then I said we should get married. You said, "Careful, that sounds like a confession." Your whole precinct showed up like a raid, turned our wedding into an operation. You whispered, "I choose you too, and I won't arrest you again." I kissed you under police applause and thought I'd do it all again. I'm still in trouble, still falling for your eyes. Started as a warning, now you're the rest of my life. You caught me talking reckless, now I'm yours for good. Funny how getting in trouble never felt this good. Now it's rings and midnight bottles and a baby in the room. Funny how one bad decision led me straight to you. Say, "Still in trouble?" I said, "With you." You smiled like a verdict and said, "Always." So if that's the charge, I plead guilty too.